What's up, you guys? I'm back again. Back again just after that phenomenal collab with Nicer. That was I know it's kind of hard to hear her, but that was one of the most amazing collabs I ever heard. To to have a person that has been debt free all their life and was taught that way and grew up in an environment to where you're just programmed to consume, right? I couldn't even Like right now, I can't even tolerate regular TV now. I can't even imagine being a kid and not being able to share this information with anybody because nobody would understand. That was just amazing to me. Okay. Let you guys get up in here. Welcome back. My name is LJ Young, and I am a 100% debt-free motivational speaker and personal finance educator. I help people become financially free by helping them financially see outside what I call the debt matrix. And the debt matrix is a place where everybody believes in finance and everything that goes down in value. And that's where I lived for the first 40 years of my life. What's up, NC Biggs? That's where I lived for the first 40 years of my life and didn't even know I lived there. Didn't even know it. Just thought it was normal. I thought the only way I can get a car is to finance it. The only way I can get a house is to finance. It's the only thing. The only time I was anybody if I had good credit and a good job. That's it, right? It was okay to have credit cards, multiple, and brag about the high limits of each. Just brag to my friends about how many credit cards I have, who are they from, the limits, as if any of it was mine. It's just so crazy. I just grew up like that and I just didn't even know it. And to hear Hyphy's story as a debt-free person, when I think back at those moments now, I think here was a kid, because you better believe she's not the only one. Here's a kid looking at a grown person like myself when I was making six figures and faking it. I didn't realize people saw me. I didn't realize people could see me, right? Well, I was in debt all my life, so I really didn't even know that exists. And this is how powerful this is, what I teach. Okay. It's beyond belief. But as I think of myself in the debt matrix and thinking that somebody like Nicer was around to see everything in my life was a fake, because everything was financed. None of it was mine. But I fit perfectly right into society, because that's what society believes. Hey, you go to college, you get a good job, you make six figures, you made it, right? That's just what is programmed in your head. Like six figures is even a lot of money, but for some reason in a debt matrix, six figures is some kind of boundary or a set money amount that says to people, this person has made it, right? But what people in the debt matrix don't understand, that it's a set limit for them. When you're in debt, you don't know that. But when you hear somebody's making 100,000, 200,000, 300,000, you automatically assume that that's a lot of money. You're just like, oh my God. But I didn't realize it was only a lot of money to me and people like me, right? I didn't really think past that point. And I was like, oh, if I made 300,000, whoa, I'd be this and that. No, you wouldn't. You'd be in the exact same situation, in debt, trying to impress other people in debt, going by my salary. But anyway, she really made me think a lot about, once you know your direction, all that matters as long as I know it. Nobody outside of me. It doesn't matter about anybody outside of me that doesn't see the same vision I do. It doesn't matter. But growing up, you're born to absorb other people's opinions about yourself, and you think, okay, if they think this way about me, blah blah blah, you think you're this and that. It's the stupidest nonsense. But it doesn't matter what they think, long as you know. I know now. To even get this channel to this point right now, You guys don't even realize how many people I had to ignore. Close friends and relatives too. Oh, that's dumb. What do you mean get out of debt? Well, everybody has finance cars. Everybody has finance houses. No, they don't. That's not true. That is not true. I had to fight to get to this channel where it's at, and I'm so proud of myself. Why? Because I believed in myself. Now let me. Now today's. I know today's thing is slaves, how recessions, how slaves are born. But I want you guys to understand what it took to get to this point after becoming debt free, because you're in a whole different world. I can't really explain it, nor am I going to explain it to people that just don't get it. Doesn't mean anything, but you got to realize how powerful that is, because they really don't see you. They can't hear you. I had to ignore a lot of people, but I knew I was right. I knew I was right. And it's going to be, even, it doesn't matter. It's going to be your loved one. It's going to be society. That's not normal. No, it's not normal to them. People in debt, it's not normal to them when you venture outside of what they've been taught. Now, let's get to the recession piece, because I want you guys to understand. I've learned some pretty crazy things this past week. And when I say crazy, I'm gonna try my best to describe this to you. When I say crazy, I mean when things come into focus that were the obvious the whole time, right? That's what happens. Okay, so you guys that's the best way I can describe it. Sooner or later, when you get out of debt, things will start it's not like when you find it, it's not going to be some new revolutionary thing. It's going to be like, oh, it's almost coming. It's just coming into focus. It's always been there, but it's been blurry because people in debt, they chitter chatter a lot, right? But when you cut them off, things come to focus. But anyway, so we were talking about a friend of mine. We're talking about the recession, right? And we're thinking, we're watching the coronavirus, and the stock market was just tanking. They're freezing the stock market. Money's being lost on a 401ks and all this other stuff, right? You see it right now. I remember when I was in debt, when I used to look at that stuff, I had no idea what any of that meant. Numbers rolling across the screen, stocks, bonds, right? And being in debt, you can't possibly know what's going on in the stock market because you're in debt. So, for example, if you're a person in debt right now and you're playing the stock market, but you don't know how much debt you're in today, like down to the penny, you don't know what you're doing in the stock market, because whatever you're doing it doesn't even exist. You're in debt. It's mathematically impossible for you to invest negative dollars into the stock market. So if you don't know that piece, there's no possible way you can understand how the stock market really works. There's a different way how it works, right? But anyway, God, I didn't want to lose what I was saying. Oh, crap. Oh, okay. No, when my friend was like, he was like, hey, man, you seen those big losses in the stock market? I was like, yeah. What's up with that? I said, oh, my God, I'm like everybody else. Oh, man. He said, you do know when there's losers, there's winners. There's always a direct opposite. So if you see the stock market tank, that means a very few people got rich. Everybody doesn't lose, right? And he was like, so when you hear the stock markets, they tank or lost money, what do you think? He said, just like this, where do you think that money goes? You think it just vanishes in the thin air? You just think it goes poof, it's gone? No, it transfers. That money goes somewhere. It doesn't just vanish into thin air. Now, being in a debt matrix, when I used to hear losses, I never thought to think, wait a minute, what happens to that money? I know you said it lost, but it lost somewhere into somebody else's bank account. Exactly. That opened my eyes so bright to something, man. It almost like it made a connection. It made everything connect financially. I was like, that's what I was missing, because I knew I was missing a piece to this whole equation. I knew, okay, people in debt, they don't really know they're in debt, so they don't really know they're not investing in the stock market. So they're probably trusting people that they believe know under the stock market, but they don't know that all you have to do is ask to see that person's personal credit report that you believe is a stock market genius. Ask to see his credit report. If he has student loans older than his children, he doesn't really know how the stock market works, because that doesn't make any sense. There's not a stock market. There's not a stock on the market that will justify somebody keeping their student loans for 20 years. So if he doesn't know that, how could he possibly know that? They can't. That's impossible. But people in debt don't know to ask those type of questions, right? I do now. You play on the losses. You do. You play on people's behavior. So here's another thing that I was thinking today. This didn't make any sense, but now it does, okay? I was asking a couple of buddies of mine that they sell stuff. I said, hey, have you guys, one's a car dealership and another guy just sells stuff. Let's just say stuff, right? And I said, have your sales went down since this recession's about to happen? Because people about to be out of work. This is clear. When you're out of debt, you say, oh man, people are about to be out of work because they can't get to work because the coronavirus. Nobody's going to be doing cruises, blah, blah, blah. So everybody's going to be broke, right? But he said, both of them said their sales are still up. I'm just like, wow, that didn't make any sense to me. I was like, that doesn't make sense. Why would they continue to finance things and buy things while they're in debt, knowing there's a recession coming? You know why? Because they don't know a recession's coming. That's why, Linnell. They don't even know. They don't even know a recession's coming, and it's the obvious thing to see. That blows my mind today. That really blows my mind. I thought for one, hey, what's up, Hyphy, Joseph? Met him. I said to myself, why are they not slowing down? Because they don't know. I get on Facebook, people financing 2020 vehicles. I'm like, what the hell are you doing? You're financing stuff, and this economy is about to take a serious dump. And they just live their life like it's nothing because they're in debt. They don't know. I had to come to realize they don't know. This is how slaves are created. They're created during recessions. Now, imagine if you're a person in debt, you don't even know how much debt you're in. Now, let me say that slower. If you are a person in debt and you don't even know how much debt you're in, and you're going into a recession, and you're going into a recession with 20-year-old student loans, and you're out there financing stuff, if this is you, you are in some deep, deep trouble. And it's about to get worse. You guys are about to take a hit like a, ooh. And let me tell you, now this is just what I see. I'm just telling you what I see. None of this can be justified. None of it can be verified, nothing, but it just makes sense to me, right? So this recession is coming. And so what they do, they lower the interest rates on homes. They're like, hey, now listen to what I'm saying. They say like, hey, due to this coronavirus, whatever, they call it whatever, the name really doesn't matter, but let's say with coronavirus, because everybody's familiar with it. Due to this outbreak, you know what we're going to do you guys a favor, because we know they're getting hard times and people getting out of work. It really works like an oiled machine. Okay. It really does. It's smooth as, it's just so smooth. It's like a really nice car. Okay. So they go, hey, due to the coronavirus, we're going to lower the interest rates on refinancing your house. So they lower it. Now I started reading that it's spiked within the last 2 years, 79% spike of refinancing due to the lower interest rate, right? And people are refinancing their house like crazy. Joseph, it's brilliant. Listen to this. Follow me along. Follow, man. They go, We're going to lower this because we're going to help you because most people are going to be out of work. You're not going to get that many hours. So people run out, refinance. Guess what they do? They're going to pull out all that money out of a house they don't even own. Most of them don't even know they're starting the 30-year cycle all over again. They don't even know it. So they're pulling out money that they believe is theirs in a house they don't even own. It is brilliant. Okay. So now they believe since they're pulling money out, now they have enough money to last them through the recession. Okay. This is how people in debt think. You better believe that. Now they're buried. Recessions are how slaves are created. Right now, they're being created. This is why people's sales are not going down. People are running out. They're just telling you, right? This is just open information. 79% spike in house refinancing, and they're taking that money. What are they doing? They're going shopping. You know why? Because they believe the equity in the house is theirs. So they refinance stuff and then they go shopping. You think they're paying off bills with that? No, they're not. No, they're not. You know why? Because I did the same thing back in 2008. I refinanced. They were happy. They were happy to reach out and tell me that I had equity in my house. They were completely happy. And even back then, I used to think, why are they calling me like that? Because they want you to borrow money, Linnell. And that's exactly what I did. You think I refinanced our house and paid bills? I went shopping. I went and got a new car, clothes. I don't think I paid off anything. I think I just went shopping. Hell, it was my equity anyway. It doesn't matter. My house is an asset. Here I'm thinking it's my house and it's an asset. Yeah, it's an asset, but it's not for you, Linnell. But they don't know that. That's how slaves are born. You think in a recession, anybody is going to be paying their student loan debts? They don't even pay their student loan debts when it's not a recession. Okay, listen closely. When it's not even a recession and times are good, people making money, people still don't pay their student loan debt. You think they're going to pay student loan debts in the recession? No, they're not. And in the same year, listen how it works. In the same year, they're promising to eliminate student loan debt. So these fools are going out there just spending money, like crossing their fingers, hoping that student loan debt's going to get erased. No, it's not. No, it's not. That's how slaves are created in recessions. This is just this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's bad, man. I'm embarrassed, man. I'm smarter than that. I'm way smarter than that. I've been knowing that all my life. A few revelations too, man. I'm gonna tell you another one. Most of my life, I didn't realize I was given just 50% of myself. I did not know that. I've been a go-getter all of my life. All of my life. All of my life. Whatever I wanted, I did. So I thought I was using 100% of myself. No, I wasn't. Know why? Because I depended on a job to make me who I was. My job title, my college degree, I depended on that to make me feel like I did something when it wasn't even me. I still wasn't given 100% of myself because that stuff is not me. I'm me. That's for the college degrees, job titles. That's for the working world. Okay, that impresses other workers. That's why manager, you're higher than that person, right? That impresses people. But you don't really realize that's just in the working world. You get outside the working world, that means nothing. Who are you? It wasn't until then I discovered myself. And the only way I discovered myself, I had to strip myself of my college degree and my job title. I had to strip it. And you're probably thinking, how you do that, Linnell? I didn't work for a year. Now I'm going on 4, okay? It took me a year to strip myself of the job title. And believe it or not, that was very tough. That was very tough to let go that I was a computer engineer, systems 3 analyst or whatever, right? Because that's impressive to tell people. What do you do? Oh man, I'm a computer engineer. Okay. And then they equate computer engineer to six figures. See how it works? It just, oh, he works at Amazon. He's a computer engineer. Oh, yeah, he's making six figures. And then they equate that to money when it means absolutely nothing. Doesn't mean anything, especially when you're in debt. When you're in debt, you're not even in a class. I didn't know I wasn't even in a class. When I say a class, lower class, middle class, upper class, I didn't even know I wasn't in a class. Those classes only exist in the debt matrix. They're not real. They're not even real. I'm way smarter than that. I think back at that 2008 recession, man. To think of my mental state there, man, I remember making $80,000 a year, lost my job, and then I was on unemployment to where I was getting my car payment as unemployment, right? Think about this. I want you guys to understand how this works because it's horrible, man. It doesn't make sense, but you don't question it because it's just been that way, right? You could work all your life. I'm thinking back in 2008 recession, all your life, and then something happens, and yeah, you get unemployment, but it's like a quarter of what you make, barely, if that, and they take taxes out of it. I remember thinking, damn, man, I've been working 20 years. That's all I get. Yeah, that's all you get, slave. When you're in debt, that's all you get. And I remember I went from 80,000 to unemployment. I still have my student loans. Of course, those went into forbearance because I couldn't pay them. And I still had credit card bills, car notes, memberships, cable TV. I mean, just, oh my God. But that was a shocker, man. When that 2000, I lost everything, man. I made it work. I trimmed everything down. I just don't know why I didn't stay that way because my mindset was still in the debt matrix. I could have been free in 2008 had I known what I know today. Mm, mm, mm. Here I am scrambling, ready to take any old job at any price they offered. Scrambling to get a job at any price they offered because I needed that job. Can you imagine the talent? Can you imagine the talent that businesses are going to get at half what they're really worth or more? Mm, mm, mm. And you got to take it. Why? Because you're in debt. I'm so much smarter than that. That was right in my face. Ooh, that recession was bad too. This is worse than that one. And the sheeple and the slaves, they're just walking around shopping like it's nothing. Panicking over toilet paper. Spending all this money they don't even have. You better believe they really don't care right now because they're like, hey, I got to survive. I'm going to die if I don't get it. And this is going to happen. They're like, screw it. That's what the credit cards are for. They're emergencies, and that's an emergency. And that's exactly what they wanted you to think. Use those credit cards with whatever you deem it as an emergency. And to them, this is an emergency. You better believe the people that had those credit cards put away for rainy days, they are maxing. They're maxed out or they're maxing them out and justifying every penny because this is deemed an emergency. Great jobs, bank. Great jobs, bank. And then I have one credit card and they're sending me notices. Hey, we care. You know, the coronavirus is this, just in case you can secure your account, this and that, whatever. You guys really care about me like that, huh? No, you don't. No, you don't. You're just reminding me of that I got a credit card with a balance on it that's available to you to spend anytime you wish. I know what you're doing. I get it. I get it. What's up, reigning woman? Dark Man Jeff says, if a recession is coming, if you're on the debt-free journey, should you keep on paying on it or keep hold onto more money for a rainy day? That's a good question, Dark Man. That is a very, very good question. I would probably hold off. I'd probably hold off. I mean, it counts on what point of the recession. That's coming. But you got to remember, a lot of people are going to do that. And a lot of people are going to stop paying their bills. They want to save money. So since they don't have any money, so they're going to stop paying their bills, which is going to get them even deeper in debt. So it's really a catch-22. You got to just listen what they're saying at your job. When you go to work, you got to listen to the chitter chatter. Okay. Because people will let you know if something's coming. You can feel the climate at work. Something's coming. But if you are really good at what you do, like if you're a key person at your job and a recession's coming and you're a key person, don't worry about getting laid off. Don't worry about your money getting cut off, because they're not going to close their company. They're going to keep their best workers. Okay. Imagine if it was your business and you had to cut staff. You're going to cut the weakest links, the people you really don't need, that they're just doing remedial tasks every day. You're going to let them go first because they're not doing nothing, right? But your key people, you're not letting them go unless you want your business to completely shut down. So it really counts on what stage you're at in your debt-free journey. Yeah, it really counts on where you're at. Willie Little John says, should I take my money out of the bank at LJ? No. No, what's happening here is more stock market stuff, right? And the bank is insured up to like 250,000 per account or something like that. So your money's not going anywhere unless you're over $250,000 in one bank. Yeah, you got to switch it up. But I think each bank that you go to, double check there. Say, hey, what's your FDIC insurance? Blah blah blah. I believe the standard is 250,000 per account. So just do that. Yeah, but what's so funny, Willie, is that a Home Depot, they got truckloads of toilet paper. You go to Home Depot, they got it beyond damn near the whole store. But people don't know that. People just panic. They're like sheeple. They go wait outside Costco and just wait till they be the first one to get the first shipment. They just like being part of the hysteria, right? When you could just go to Home Depot and pick you some up right now. No crowd, nobody rushing anybody, nothing. This is how the next generation of slaves are born, man. It's amazing to see. It's amazing to watch. It's amazing to know that I was part of that once. I could have been a multimillionaire years ago. The max I probably would have worked was 10 years. The max I would have worked was 10 years. I would have owned my first house in my 20s for sure. And maybe had one more mortgage due to trying to create rental income. But even then, I really don't want to deal with people when it comes to money, because if the majority of people are in debt, I wouldn't want to be a landlord, because now you got to deal with people not paying their rent and all that stuff. There's other ways to do it, and I would have figured out that way to not have to work directly with people like that. I wouldn't have fell for You know, every job you get, they pound it in your head that, hey, here's your retirement plan at 65. You can get this and that. And it's like, no, you get the retirement's not an age. Retirement is whenever you feel like retiring. What age do you feel like retiring? Okay, now you do whatever it takes to make sure you retire at that age. It's really not. But if you really believe people are not even barely living past 50 something, somehow you're going to retire at 65 and then you're going to enjoy the rest of your life if you've been taking care of yourself. Come on, man. Crazy. It's just, I wouldn't have believed that. Retirement's an age. Damn, damn, damn. That was the biggest facade ever. And I remember one time, I remember back in 2008 when I was just making $20 stretch, right? And I remember one time this collector called me and he was like, hey, you owe this much on this credit card. How you gonna pay this? And remember, I didn't have nothing. So there was no running from him. I wasn't trying to avoid him. I just told him, I said, man, I ain't got nothing. He was like, you just sitting at home doing nothing. You can't pay he asked me, do you have another credit card that you can pay this one? I was like, no, man. I said, I'm broke. The recession hit. I have no money, no job. Do you know this dude, this collector got mad at me? Got totally upset. Now I know why he got so emotionally upset, because he got to make some money because there's a recession. So when they collect, they get paid. If they don't, they don't, right? So that's why he's mad. That's why he got emotional. But I realized at that moment, hey, if you ain't got it, you ain't got it. No, you don't have to run. You don't have to avoid their phone numbers. I mean, avoid their calls. You can say, hey, hello, yes, the same situation as yesterday. You're not getting anything. Why? I ain't got no job. Charles 2003 says, some folks say to follow the money and you will get your answer why companies do certain things. This is what I say, Jaws. I say this. Never mix your feelings with your job. It's just business. Their job is to do whatever job they do at the cheapest amount of money they can. That's cost, and that's how they're gonna make profit. If they can keep their costs low and profits high, they make more money. You see what I'm saying? So they're gonna do what they need to do to keep those costs low. And if you don't mix your feelings with business, you won't say this company is like, oh, they shouldn't be doing that. They're mean. They're cutting costs. They're doing this. You don't worry about that. They're doing this for a reason, to make the company survive or whatever they're doing. So I'm not saying all companies are honest, but they're going to do what they need to do to make the most profit. It's business, period. Follow the money. I'd say only follow the money if you figure they're doing something corrupt. If they're doing something corrupt, yeah, just follow the money. It's always about money. Scammers, it's about money. Corruption, it's about money. When you get out of debt and it's not about money anymore, you understand. Now I understand that money is just paper with green numbers on it, green ink and green paper and green numbers, right? That's it. Nothing more than that. But when you see people lying to people, scamming the people for it, killing people for it, robbing people for it, that's only people in debt do things like that. For paper, take another person's life for some pieces of paper that grew on a tree. No, or cloth or whatever it's made of now. It's not even real. And you're going to take somebody's life for it? Rob somebody for it, terrorize somebody for it, steal, scam? That's follow the money. Those people, that's why they're doing that, for money. So you can always follow where they're going. They always will leave a trail because they know of no other trail to create. Some might make it a little complicated. Okay, I'm gonna put this here, shell company there, this and that. It doesn't matter. All that stuff really doesn't. It doesn't matter where they try to hide it. It always, people in debt have a pattern. No matter what level of money they're making, when they're in debt, they have a pattern and they do certain things. They don't know they're doing them because all they've known is debt all of their life. So they don't know they're doing these things. But when they just do it, They think they're hiding. They think they're slick. It always leads back to where it needs to lead back to and say, oh, okay, there's the person. Why? Because of the money. The person that's doing the rob, they want the money. So they're not going to ever, listen, they're not going to ever disconnect themselves from that money. In order to not get busted or caught, they would have to completely disconnect themselves from the money they've been making all these years. But people that usually scam and do stuff like that, they're spending it just as fast as they make it, so they can't stop. They even trap themselves. They don't even know it. People in debt do things like that. That's why when you hear CEOs of companies and stuff like that, now here are CEOs, they're making like millions, $500,000, and they're still stealing from the company. Why? Because they're in debt. If you're making $500,000 a year, there is no reason to be stealing from somebody. Only people in debt do that because it doesn't make any sense. For paper, you're willing to risk you're willing to risk the time in your life for some strips of paper. You're going to trade your freedom for paper? No, sir. No, sir. When you don't know that as a young man, there's some stupid things I did when I was young that I look back now and be like, ooh, you about to do that for some paper? Mm-mm. What's the risk for that? Oh, no. What's the consequence? That? Mm-mm. What'll happen if I do that? Ooh, that'll happen. No, sir. Not doing that. I don't care how much you're paying me. No, sir. Nothing's worth more than the time in my life. Nothing. Nothing more than this freedom. Nothing. So, and I was thinking about this too. I was thinking about velocity banking, right? And people swear by it, right? And people that believe in velocity banking, they don't realize all I have to do is ask them one question that they will not be able to answer, right? This is all I have to, because they believe velocity banking gets them out of debt fast if they do this and that and put this there and this and that. And I only have one question for them. Why don't you just do it without velocity banking? Have you ever tried that? Have you ever tried to do it without velocity banking? Just get out of debt without velocity banking. Why do you need something? Remove that. Just do it yourself. You know why they can't do it? Because they're in debt. They don't know they can't do it. And they're like, oh man, it's going to take too long. Why? Because you're using your own money. You realize you have to have your own money to get out of debt fast, right? Your own money, not borrowed money. And it's so simple to see. But remember, it's so obvious when people are in debt, they don't even see it. You can explain it to them. Have you noticed when I say after every confrontation, I always say the same thing, but is my math right? And they always say yes. And they have no idea why they say yes. Can you imagine going into a recession and you're trying to do velocity banking, which is based on borrowing? Oh, imagine these guys in the middle of velocity banking when the recession's already here. Okay, it's already here. And it hits them and it affects them, and then they lose their job, and they're gonna see how deep in debt they're gonna go so fast like this. Because one day when they lose their job, guess what? They're not going to be able to make those payments all that money that they borrowed from the bank. Guess what? That interest kicks in. It's going to kick in big time. That's how slaves are made. That's how slaves are created. And they do it right in your face too. Ooh, they do it right in your face. Oh, I can't believe I let them do that to me. Oh, oh my God, I can't believe that. They did it right in my face. I did the same thing in 2008. Just right before that bubble pop, bank contacted me. Hey, you know, you got equity in your house. And I took every freaking dime of it too. I would go back and look at that account and look at that money and think, man, I got $30,000 to use whenever I feel like using it. I had enough equity in my house to pay off my student loan at that time. I could have took that money, paid off the student loan with the line of credit, which would have brought it out from the umbrella of protection of bankruptcy. And then the 2008 would have crashed, would have happened. And I would have filed Chapter 7 and it would have all been gone. But you know what's so funny? Even though I say this out loud right now, never in a million years would a person in debt ever do that. Ever do that. They would never even think of that. If a person had $50,000 in student loan debt that's older than their children, and then also they had $50,000 in equity in the house that they just bought, they would never refinance that house and put every single penny off that student loan debt on that student loan debt. They would never do that in a million years, and they know it. I would have been free had I did that. Oh my God, I would have been free. But I had to pay off. I mean, I did it. I paid it off, but I don't even know what I did with that money. I don't know what I did. Oh, I was so stupid. I did exactly. They're doing the exact same thing right now. They're lowering the interest rate so people can refinance their house and pull out the equity. It shot up. Not 79% spikes. They make it sound like it's a good thing. And let them bury themselves in debt. Mm, mm, mm. Patrick Young, what's up, bro? Dropped $2,000 on my car note today. One more payment and I'll finish. Ooh, I know Friday can't get here fast enough, little bro. I know it can't get here fast enough. Oh my God, I know you ready to drop that money on that payment and say, send me my effing title. Congratulations, man. Tech says, man, I almost regret taking my car note now, even though I love the car. Tekken, sorry. Now you're a slave. You're a slave to the car now, man. I hate to tell you. And the way it sounds like it's the way you're stating that statement, sound like you just got it. It's probably 72 months. And what's the interest rate? Probably in the teens, maybe. 72 months is 6 years. Now you're a slave to the car. Your job was car, job. There was 3. Your car, your job. Oh, your car, your job, and the bank. Now you guys have a 3-way relationship for 6 years. That doesn't even include the insurance on the car. That's how slaves are created. And I hate to tell you this, Tekken, but guess what? Many slaves don't know this, but listen. The reason why you're financing a car is because you don't have the money. And since you don't have the money for the car, you don't have the money for the taxes. So you're financing the taxes too. Last and not least, nobody gets a finance car on sale. Nobody. So when you see the sticker price on the car lot and you're financing the car, that price means absolutely nothing to you. Nothing. Your price is in the back of your paperwork. That's your price. That's your sale price. Tekken says 3 more years. Tekken says, I wonder what will happen if I tell them, hey, I can't really afford this payment anymore. They won't care. That's your feelings. They wouldn't care if you said that. You signed a contract that said you promised your future earnings for however long you'd signed for. You promised it to them. You promised them something that you hadn't even made yet, and you promised it to them. That's all they care about. They don't care if you can. Nobody can promise that. Nobody can promise the next 5 years of their financial future? Nobody. I knew it, and I could tell by the way you're saying it, Tech, and I knew it. And I'm not saying this to be negative to you, like you're dumb for doing it. And this is what I want you to make sure of, okay? When I'm talking like that, and it makes it sound like I'm talking to you like that, this is all I want you to do. Go look up total U.S. auto loan debt. It's in the trillions. That's millions of people just like you. So don't feel alone. That's millions. But you can be one of them that don't do that. You cannot be part of those millions of people. You'll be a million to one, millions to one. Just do the opposite. High interest, yeah. 4 years, oof. In the 20s, honestly, I would let it get repossessed. I wouldn't keep it. The way you're sounding right now, it sounds like you're so far upside down in that car, you'll never catch up, ever. I would let it get repossessed. And I would go buy me $1,000 bucket. That's what I would do. You're already upside down in the car. You listen to what you're saying. This is what you're saying, okay? You're making payments and paying interest on something that's not even worth the price you're paying it on the monthly basis because you're upside down and it's not even worth what you're paying. And you're paying more for it because you're paying interest on an upside down car. It just doesn't make it. The math will never, ever make sense. I would let it get repossessed. Dave Sincere says, I used to work for an auto finance. They really wouldn't care if you couldn't. They really don't want to repo it because they would take a loss. Yeah, who cares? It's business. So what? Dave Sincere says they would try to work with you, possibly refi it or sell it. But other than that, they would tell you to do everything you can. Of course, they're gonna tell you everything you can do because they don't. If you let it, if you let it get repossessed, they take a loss. So what? It's business. They knew the chance they were taking when they signed you onto the contract. Remember that, because I want you to understand that. Number one, only people with no money finance cars. That's right off the bat. Only people with no money finance things that go down in value. Only broke people, only slaves do that. Number two, you not only do you finance the car, you finance it at 20%. That tells me right there that they abused you because nobody in their right mind would ever sign a contract, let alone finance a car at all. But at 20%, only people that don't know do that, aka slaves. Slaves sign such contracts, promising money that they don't even have for the next 5 years of their life. Only slaves do that. At a percentage rate, I would let it get repossessed. Now, I know you're thinking, oh my God, what about my credit? Only people in debt worry about their credit with no money in the bank. A person in debt will have absolutely no money in the bank, but still worry about their credit. That makes absolutely no sense. Another thing that doesn't make sense, only slaves do that. Dark Man says, man, I barely could stomach the 4-year car notes. Folks outsign for 6 years worth car notes. I'm off that narcotic. Oh yeah, they're going up to 12 years now. Corvette has 20-year car notes. There's 12-year financing. There's refinancing car, which people will get on the internet talking about the great rate they got after they refinanced the car. Only slaves would dare do that in open public. You not only finance the car, but you refinance the car? I can't even tell if, okay, check this out. If you finance the car and you already upside down in it, and then you go refinance a upside down already in car, you are going to be a slave until you're dead. And when they get on Facebook and Instagram talking about what a great rate they got on refinance the car, just be shaking my head. I'll be like, "Ooh, you slave." Oh man, you just throw that question out there. You see all the slaves jump in. Oh yeah, you can save some money at the end of the month. You save about $10. If your credit's good, you can refinance it at a lower percentage rate. Oh my God. It's like the blind leading the blind. It's hard to watch. It is hard to watch. This recession doesn't surprise me at all. Millions of slaves about to be born. Millions. Dave Sincere, your car loses value the minute you drive it off the lot. Dave Sincere, that's not true. A lot of slaves believe that too. That's not even true. Not at all. You know when the car goes down in value? As soon as you step on the car lot and crack your lips talking about you're going to finance a car, that's the moment it goes down in value right there. As soon as you crack your lips and say, "Hey, I'm here to finance that depreciating object with interest," that's the moment it goes down in value. Because they didn't even got your credit yet. Once they run your credit, that's how much further they're going to make you go down in value of that car. Driving off the car lot is the last time. In that whole experience, when you're financing a car, that's the last moment. As soon as you drive it off the lot, that's when it's going to go down even further because of you. First, it starts with them. Now it's on you because you got to drive it to keep it going down in value. You do. So that's when it goes down in value for you even further. But you don't know that's the last part that's the last part in the whole process. Tekken says, not too bad. It's a 2015 Honda Civic SI. Okay. NC Big says, depends on the dealership. The one I didn't care if they got repo and let the banks deal with you. I don't know why you guys have to worry about who, what. Just say, "Hey man, I'm not making the payments no more." They'll come get it. Don't worry about it. Make sure all your stuff is out of the car. That's all. Don't worry about what bank does what. They're going to come get their property. Okay. Don't worry about that part. That's going to happen. Actually, you can call them and tell them, "Hey, I'm not making the payments no more. Here's the car." Save them a bunch of trouble and looking and spying, because that's what they're used to. They're used to people, when they get the car, they used to people hiding their cars for the repo, man. No, you're going to do it on purpose. So you just tell them, "Hey, check it out. Yeah, I'm not making the payments no more. Hey, you know it's going to mess your credit up. I don't care. I'm still not paying. The car is here. You guys can pick it up anytime you want. I'm not hiding it." Just they're going to be blown away by that conversation, but don't worry about that. Just let them know. Dave Sincere says, repo is your last option. Try to sell it to a personal buyer. Nope, you're upside down. That's not true. No, if you're upside down, you're going to have to pay to get out of it. And if you're upside down in the car, that means you have no money. So you have no money to get out of it. There is no other way out of it except letting it get repossessed. When you try to sell it, you're going to be upside down in the car. You can't sell a car that's worth $15,000 but you owe $25,000 or $20,000 on it. You never sell it. You got to come up with $10,000. And if you're upside down in it, trust me, you're paying high insurance, high interest rate, probably Gap insurance, Geico insurance. You're just getting ripped. You're not going to do that. Repossession. Don't play around. Don't play around with it. Repossession. Dave Sincere says, refinancing is only going to put you in deeper in the hole, but you'll think you're winning because your monthly payments are lower. Yes, that's exactly no different than refinancing a house. Same thing. People think refinancing a car and refinancing a house is different. It's the exact same process. Same thing. Text says, I can honestly say that say the car payments is taking basically most of my money. It kind of sucks, even though I wanted this car. Okay. That's how you stop it from taking your paycheck. Stop paying for it. But at that moment, I know you're probably thinking, Tekken, oh my God, what are my friends going to think? They're going to think I'm broke. They're going to say, hey, what happened to that nice car you had? What happened? This and that. I get it, but you got to ignore people in the debt matrix. Anybody that says that to you, Tekken, I want you to say, hey, do you have student loans? Yeah. Do you have car payments? Yeah. You don't worry about their opinion. Hey, do you have student loans? Hey, do you have car payments? Yeah. Don't worry about their opinion. And go around. Anybody, if one of your friends say, I don't have any payments and I'm debt free, you listen to that person, but never take the opinions of others in the same financial situation as you. That doesn't even make any sense. Don't ever do that. Jared says, money issues always come to the light if you keep trying to pretend to live a lifestyle you can't afford. The curtain drops. I have family that hit hard times I thought were well off, but struggle now. Exactly. It's a facade. The majority of people are there. It's a facade. And this, you want to pick out the people that you think are rich. This is all you got to do. Hey, do you still have your student loans? And if they say yes, they're faking. People with money don't keep their student loans for 20 years. That's how it works. If you have money, why would you keep a student loan around for 20 years if you got money? They do it because they have no money. And if they try to fight you, say, hey man, make it make mathematical sense. The reason why you kept a student loan for 20 years, make it make sense to me. And I'll believe you. They can't. So they're faking. Okay. Dave Sincere says, you right. They will come pick it up. They have no problem picking up. They'll pick their car up. Don't worry about that part. Don't worry about that part. They will pick the property up. No reason to damage it. Let them know where it's at. The key's under the mat. So is the spare key. So is the manual. Your property is perfect. It's right there. Dave Sincere says, I came in late to the show. I didn't know he was upside down. Oh yeah, he's upside down. Believe that. Tekken says, man, I should just let it get repo, because if I do, man, I'd save a lot of money in a short amount of time. Look how you're saying it. Now, Tekken, I want you to listen to yourself as you're saying this. You know what will happen. This is the glitch in the debt matrix, Tekken. Okay, this is the glitch, and I'm trying to point it out to you. You're saying to yourself, right here, I'm reading it, man, I should let it get repoed, because if I do, man, I'd save a lot of money in a short amount of time. Yes, you will, Tekken. So let it go today. You probably still won't, because why? You're stuck. You're in the debt matrix. You don't want people to see you. I don't have another car. I might be walking. They might see me catching the bus, whatever people in debt think to themselves, whatever, it doesn't matter. But you're probably still going to hesitate to something that you already know will happen once you do it. It's just it's crazy. That's what makes it feel like a superpower to me. Jared says, on my part-time job, I work with a guy who lives with his parents and has an $800 a month car payment. That's why he lives with his parents, because he has an $800 car payment. That's how it works. And people say it all the time. You can say, hey man, the only reason why you can afford an $800 car payment because you live with your parents. Exactly. That's why he's living with his parents. Everybody says these things out loud. They say it. Oh, that's the only reason. Yeah. He probably says it himself. Oh man, if I wasn't living with my parents, I couldn't afford it. Exactly. That's why you're living with your parents, because you have an $800 car payment. People say these things out loud. Dave Sincere says, I agree with you, Linnell. You're in a pickle. I would say get another job. You don't want to mess your credit up, man, if you got that option. And see, Dave, that's exactly what I don't want them to think. Stop thinking about your credit, because people start thinking, oh man, you let it get repo, man. What about your credit? You want to go, you ain't got no money. You ain't got $1 in the bank and you're worried about your credit. Why are you worried about your credit? I don't get it. I would be more worried about the money in my account. I ain't got no money, but I'm worried about my credit report. That makes absolutely no sense. You mean to tell me I'll save $500 a month if I let this depreciating object go back? Yeah. Plus insurance. Yeah. Plus gap insurance. Yeah. Plus interest rate. Yeah. Take that thing. Take it. Now I got an extra $500 in my account plus insurance. Oh man, that's not even a question. Or get another job. The force is strong, man. Instead of get rid of that car, instead of letting that depreciating object go, you think about get another job to keep that depreciating object? No way, man. You got to use up something in your life that you can't get more of. More time in your life. You can't even get more of that from nowhere. You're going to be dead one day, and you're ready to give even more of it up for a depreciating Honda Accord? Oh, no. Mm-mm. That's how much your time is worth to you? Let me tell you something, Tekken. You keep doing stuff like that, that's exactly how much the time in your life is going to be worth all the way to the end of your life if you keep doing that. So right now, what you're saying, this is what I want you to say to yourself. Right now, I want you to, how much you make an hour or whatever, that's how much your time in your life is worth right now until 3 more years. Tekken says, yes, Dave, but man, I'd save so many checks if I let. I want you to notice the struggle. The struggle doesn't even make sense. You're saying what will happen if you let go of that depreciating object with interest that you're paying 20-something% on. You're saying what will happen and you still hesitate. It makes no sense to me. That makes absolutely no sense. You mean I'll be free? Yeah, you'll be free. You mean I won't have to get a second job? Nope. You won't have to get a second job. You'll be free. You mean I won't have to work overtime anymore? Mm-mm. You mean I won't have to work on holidays anymore? Nope. That won't even be an option on your table. Every single weekend off? Yep. Why? Because you said so. Just like that. Just like that. For a car, I would do that. And I would do that every day, including Sunday. Tekken says only so I finish paying and be done. Only so. Hey, do what you wish, Tekken. I'm just giving you mathematics, man. There would be no way in hell I'd get a second job for a car. Mm-mm. There is no way I would do that. I would sit at home and I'd rather sit at home playing video games, eating popcorn than doing that. Going to work for a vehicle? No, not doing any of that. Yes, 20-something%. No, sir, ain't doing none of that. That's slavery. Yep, Dave is right. Dave is exactly right. If you're paying 20-something%, your credit is already bad. They only charge slaves. Okay, they already know they got a regular slave with good credit financing a car. But if you're a slave with bad credit, oh man, they're abusing you. And there's a recession. We're in the beginnings of a recession, and you're still debating on getting rid of that car? No, sir. Mm-mm. I walk around grocery stores, people acting like there's nothing going on. Nothing. Slaves are busy with the coronavirus. They're just digging themselves deeper and deeper in debt. Don't even know they're doing it. Making new slaves. You determine how much your time in your life is worth. You determine that. Nobody else determined that. So whenever you decide to create a business, right, you name your prices, you name your price, what you're worth. If anybody says, "Ooh, that's too expensive," they're only talking about themselves. It's only expensive to them. If you start a business and say your price is this, and "Ooh, that's too expensive," it's only expensive to them. Let me give you an example. This is what I did. I put my prices up like triple. Everything's triple the price now. Why? Because that's what I'm worth. That's exactly what I'm worth right now at this moment. I thought of some prices and I thought to myself, what would I pay? This is what I thought to myself. What would I pay for groundbreaking information to what I'm offering right now? I said, that's what I'll pay because I would get that back in a year. That's what I thought to myself. If I like the people I help now, what I'm doing is I'm calculating them what I could save them in 1 year. But not only does it pay for what my service that I help them with, it never stops paying. Once they learn what I teach them, it never stops paying. It continues to pay on through the rest of their life, through their kids' lives. It's all generational. I said, what kind of money would I pay? It's really unlimited. But right now, what would I pay? Oh, I'd pay that. That's exactly what I'd pay. To talk to a person like that, I'd pay that. He's a slave. That's how slaves speak. Linnell is right. If you don't have good credit, they will most certainly abuse you. Oh, you're abused. The credit system is just letting people know how if they can abuse you or not. That's it. One look at my credit report, the banks would know, oh, we can't abuse him. Oh, yeah, I know you can't. It's not even, and when I say abuse, I'm saying that business wise, I'm not saying the banks are doing anything mean because they're just doing mathematics. If you just do the math, you don't have to fall for any of the stuff. It's just nothing, right? But if you don't know, you're going to get financially abused. NC Big says everyone talking about Trump versus Biden instead of slavery versus freedom. Oh yeah, I don't even pay attention to politics. All I know is Trump is trying to run for re-election. I don't even pay attention to any of that. None of that. I don't watch the news. I don't do any of that. People in slaves, they think it's somebody's fault. Somebody else is going to get them out of debt. Somebody's going to change this. Somebody's going to pay off student loan debt. And that's exactly what they want you to think. Somebody else is going to do it for you. When slave, you got to do it for yourself, slave. Ain't nobody going to do it for you. You got to do it. But then again, I got to tell you guys on the other side, it must be that way. We must have people struggling with, should I let this car go or not? It must be that way. We must have people debating, should they get a second job to keep a car? It must be that way. The majority of people must continue to think that way. Dave Sincere says, this is what will happen if you voluntarily surrender your vehicle to auto refinance company or hire a repo company. They will come pick it up. They will store your vehicle, 15, bloggity blah, bloggity blah. Whatever. Bring it to them if you want. You want to save all that stuff. Hey, where can I bring you this car? Make it as easy as possible. If they can save money just not coming to get it from you, save them some money. Hey, where you want me to park it at? I'll bring it to you. It's not a big deal. Oh, you're not going to pay it? No, I just told you I'm not going to pay it. So I'm just going to give you a car. Just be straight up honest. You don't have to, you don't have to make them convince you enough. Make up in your mind that you're going to give this car back, right? And so you just call them up and say, hey, you know what? I'm not going to be paying on this car no more. They're going to take you. Why? What? Your credit this and that. Hey, I just told you. Where do you want me to drop it off? They will transport it to auction it off, whatever they sell, and then they'll make you pay the rest of the loan. And that's all true what David's saying. That's all true. Tekken says, and when would I have to pay that? Dave says, once, okay, I'm going to let you guys talk. All right. Jared says, I never understood why people think they should have to pay their student loans. Shouldn't have to pay their student loans. You know what? It's Jared, it is conditioned for people to think that way. It's conditioned for them to think that way. They must think, because all the people in the debt matrix, they're always like, oh, somebody should have told me. I was so young. I was 18. I know somebody should have warned me about this. I don't know why the credit card companies come to our college and give us credit cards. They always got somebody to blame, right? It's just all business. Stop blaming everybody. Just say you should have said no. But when you're that young, you're relying on your parents. But as a kid, you don't know that your parents don't know about money either. You just think they do because you see them with a house and a car and a job. So you think, oh, they must know what they know about money and credit because look where we live. Look what schools we go to. Look at our clothes and shoes. And so they would automatically assume that their parents are doing good when all the kids have to do is this is all kids have to do to see if their parents know about money. Hey, mom, dad, yeah, you still got your student loans? And if they tell you yes, they don't know about money because you got to think to yourself, why would my mom and dad still have student loans? And I'm like 20 something years old. That doesn't even make any sense. Exactly. It doesn't make sense. That's how to know that they don't know about money. Nobody that understands money would ever keep a student loan longer than actually going to college. That doesn't make any sense. You go to college for 4 years, but you're paying your student loans for 20. That doesn't make any sense. So don't take financial advice from anybody like that. Can you imagine how many people are in this recession that have student loans up to their eyeballs that are older than the children, and they're in the recession giving financial advice? Can you imagine how many people that is? Oh my God. Can you imagine? There's got to be millions. There got to be millions of people. All these people that are flipping houses using FHA mortgages, when this recession hit, you're going to see them vanish. They're going to disappear. They're going to go poof right off of Instagram. I see all these flip that on this on these are who are going to disappear. Let me tell you who's going to disappear. Credit fixers and FHA loan holders. People with FHA loans, they're about to get hit first. People, house flippers that's using FHA loans, they're next. They're about to disappear. Boom. And they're all going to blame the recession. Don't get me wrong. It was the recession. The recession did it. This and that. Of course, no, it was them. Because all you got to do is find somebody with money and say, hey, man, did you lose everything when the recession hit? They're going to tell you no. Why? Because they own it. That's why. You don't lose anything in a recession if you own it. Juan says, if we lived in a perfect world, employers wouldn't require you to go to school for years before they'll hire you. They would just train you to do the job. It's about money. Doesn't matter. Don't worry about employer, Juan. Work for yourself. Figure out something else. Become an employer. Once you become an employer yourself, then you live by your own rules. Those rules are for regular workers. Hey, we require you to have a college degree. We require you to have this much experience. We require drug testing. Whatever. If you want to work here, yeah, that's what you got to do. But if you don't want to work there, no, I'll just create my own. I'll just do whatever I want to do. That's what you do. Dave Sincere says, I have a buddy I used to be real cool with. He got a student loan, used the money to make God, I can't even finish reading this. Used the money to make the front porch of his mom's house into a bedroom. We've been out of college for over 20 years. And slaves don't even realize why they don't care what you spend that money on. People don't even think, wait a minute. How come they're not coming after me for spending money on a porch? How come they're not coming after me? Because they don't care. You have to pay back every single penny of that debt. That's why. And I know people in debt, they go, hey, man, I'll just borrow the student loan money and then I'll flip it. I'll use it to flip this house and then I'll pay the student loan. No, you won't. You know why you're borrowing the student loan money? Because you have no money. That's why you're doing it. That's why you're breaking the law. People that do that don't even realize they're breaking the law. Don't even know. Everything's tracked. How hard would it be for them to figure out that you didn't use the money on school? That's easy to find out. That's not hard to find out. Hey, okay, yeah, I used the money on school. Okay, just send me the records and receipts that you paid for school with this money. They can't produce those receipts because it doesn't exist. So instead of saying anything, well, guess what? They're not going to say anything because they broke the law doing it. Now they're going to pay with the rest of their lives. That's how it works. And still, those student loans still paying. Never doing that. NC Big says guys at work are like Trump's going to stop taxes and be that are working instead of raise prices of products they purchase. I just heard you saying, I just pretend to care. No. Yeah, oh, okay. I see what you're saying. They're just going to raise the prices to purchase. That's all they're going to do. And then they just call it inflation. People are just slaves. Oh my God, I used to be a slave. Oh man, I can't believe the price of that went up. Oh man, it's inflation. No, you charge the rich tax. Yeah, they're going to put it in the product. You're going to pay it, slave. Jared says, you're right. I know parents that work 3 jobs to send their kids to school and help pay loans, but the majority just wants to hit the delete button without refunding those who actually did right. Yeah, exactly. They're not hitting them. You think they're going to release that many of their slaves? That's $1.7 trillion. That's millions of slaves. Can you imagine? That's like a double slave, a slave that's inside a recession. That's like a double clamp slave. You ain't going nowhere, slave. Ooh, they be kicking slaves while they're down, just kicking them, tasing them. Juan says it's not people's fault that student loans include interest that takes them years to pay off. It's not the people's fault. Not sure what that means. Dave says, I realized I cannot take financial advice from my parents. My mom never had any money. I have a joint bank account. I put money in for her. She blows it almost as soon as I deposit it in there. That's how it works. You got to keep it separate. You can't mix a bank account with a person in debt. They'll blow that money. And then they'll blow it all and then go, when it's overdrawn, they say, hey, what happened? The overdraft protection didn't kick in. I thought that's what you paid for. That's what people in debt think. Overdraft protection is really for their protection. Protecting, you got to look at a person, protecting from who? You? Overdraft is protecting you from yourself and they're charging you for it, slave. Quentin says, an economic downturn is coming. I can see it. Oh, it's already here. Coming. It's already here. The wave just hasn't hit yet. Everything has been put on pause for at least 2-3 months. Whenever, put it this way, however long China has been shut down, say like China's thing goes for like 2 or 3 months. Now there's going to be a 2 or 3 month gap. So the wave is going to come. So that means production is going to stop somewhere in there because they got to catch up 3 months. So it's got a gap. When that gap hits, guess what? There's going to be a lot of people not making any money. A lot of people on Amazon, Apple, whoever's main manufacturer is China. There's going to be a big old gap. Dave says, word, his mom told him to take the money out and use it for the porch. Juan says, you need the money from an employer before you can go out on your own. Yes, you got to have a job to get money. You have to have a job to earn money. Yes. Uber guy says, it's so much money outside. There's so much money. There's so much money. It's unlimited. The money to be made is unlimited. Jeff Bezos is showing you guys there's unlimited amount of money, but you got to learn how to speak the language first. You can't just go out there and not even, if you're in debt, you can't even speak the language. I promise you. If you're in debt, you don't even know how much debt you're in. You will never understand how to make as much money as Jeff Bezos. I do. I know how to do it. I know exactly how to do it because I speak the language. Uber guy says stock's super low. Guess what? If they're low for somebody, that means they're winning for another person. I just learned that. Yeah, stocks are low. Yeah. But that also means somebody else is winning. The money doesn't just vanish. It goes somewhere else. Somebody lost, but somebody wins. I'm going to be the winner from now on. When it's time to lose, I'm going to be the winner. Juan says, how does the government even give out these loans if the country is in trillions of dollars of debt? What, they send out blank checks or something? No, money doesn't exist. That's what you got to comprehend, Juan. Money doesn't even exist, especially when you're in debt. All I got to do is just tell you guys something, you believe it. Oh man, how can you give out? We're trillions of dollars in debt. How do you know we're trillions of dollars in debt? Because they said so? Oh, okay, whatever. Double, you right. Double slave. That's a double slave. Yeah, man. See how it just, Dave, see how it just pieces together? It's so obvious. And when you come on this side, it's a double-edged sword. I'm telling you guys, you get out of debt, you come on the other side of zero, there's no going back. That's so think about it. If you want to get out of debt, you come see me. Of course, you're gonna pay. You're gonna pay. This ain't free information, but I'm gonna tell you this. Once you get on the other side of zero, there is no going back. You can't you couldn't even do it if you tried. Once you come over here, you're gonna be like, that's the path to becoming a millionaire. Yes, that's it, right there, right there. Take a right there, right there. Dave says a few years ago, I put in $3,000 into my mom's account. She blew that in 45 days. 45 days gone. Probably don't even know what she spent it on. Dave says I was pissed. Said I don't even spend 3K in 45 days. What the? You spend that money on? She said you put the money in for me to spend it, right? Ooh wee. Money is there to spend. God. Oh man, it's crazy. Thank you, Cosmic. We need it. But Dave, check it out, Dave. It must be that way. In order for us to remain free, however you get there, velocity banking or not, well, as long as you get to zero debt, once you get here, you're going to turn around and be like, oh, crap. And then you're going to realize, yep, it got to be that way. That's how it's got to be. You're going to clearly see that the economy runs on debt. Dave says, I put it in just in case you needed it, not for you to blow it. That's when I stopped putting money in a regular. Oh, yeah, you got to stop that. I'm back, Nicer. You're right. I had to get on here and share with you guys how slaves are created. And this is how they're created. I had posted in the Discord server, and I forgot to mention that the last video. We have 2 SMD family members that have donated some time, 2 45-minute sessions, some time with me that we're going to raffle off in the Discord server. So please don't forget to join the Discord server. I will put it in the description after the video. I keep forgetting to do it beforehand, so I'll make sure I do it after. And we're going to raffle that time off. We're just trying to get enough people in the Discord server to raffle this time off so we can get you on the phone with me for 45 minutes, talk about anything you wish to do with your personal finances, and I will give you some answers, okay? Let me, I thought I put the... No, I guess not. Please don't forget to subscribe. Nope, didn't do that. Okay. What's up, Hyphy? Hold on for a quick second. All right, I'm back. So anyway, that's how slaves are born. It might be a shocker to most of you guys. It might be a hard pill to swallow. But all you got to do is believe the mathematics. This is all you got to do. Add up all your savings and then add up all your debt. And then go savings minus debt equals how much money you have in real life. Now, this is going to be a very large negative number. This is going to be the hard part. This will determine if you stay in the debt matrix or not. You got to believe that large negative number. You got to change it from a negative, take it up to a positive, bring it up to zero. You must go through zero to become wealthy. That's why zero is a hole. You got to go through zero. You have to. There is no other way. You got to go through zero. Once you go through zero on the other side, you'll be free. But if you look at that large negative number and say, I don't believe I'm in that much debt, or you don't care, or you say you'll never get out of it, that's where you'll stay for the rest of your life. You'll stay in debt. You'll be in debt for the rest of your life. And this recession is going to make sure you're there for a very long time. The recession is going to make sure you're there. Because believe it or not, we need slaves. We need people like you that believe you're not in debt. Everybody does it. Everybody dies with debt. We need you to believe all those things that people in debt say. We need you to believe that. Hyphy says, I went to Costco today and seen the madness. This is a great scam. Guarantee you there's tissue sitting on a truck chilling. Oh, yeah. You know what's so funny, Hyphy? Home Depot got plenty of it. Home Depot got plenty of toilet paper, plenty. I went in there 2 days ago. They had plenty of toilet paper. Buy 4, get $10 off. I bought 4. Whatever. Cosmic Wizard says, oh my God, Hyphy, I went to Kroger's and it was unreal. Wow. Dave Sincere says, society makes you think it's okay to be that you're in debt. Yes, that's part of the program. That's exactly right. Once I realized I wasn't putting 100% of myself by breaking that job title, I was really upset at myself because the reason why I wasn't putting 100% because I was relying on that job title to bring me wherever I thought it was going to bring me, when it was only me that was going to bring me to wherever I thought, because I'm the only one that knows where I want to go in my brain. Why would I think a business is going to take me there? It makes absolutely no sense. I know what to do. Once I stripped myself of that job title, I realized that's when I realized I wasn't putting 100% in myself. I thought I was, because I achieved college degrees and 6 figures. I thought I was, but I wasn't. I was still limiting myself. I knew if I looked at a Ferrari, not that I even want one, I'm just saying in general, if I look at a Ferrari and it's $300,000, I knew for a fact my job wasn't going to ever get me a car like that, ever. But somebody was buying them. Somebody could afford $300,000 Ferrari, else they wouldn't make them. Why would they make something that nobody could buy? That'd be stupid to start a company to create a car that nobody could afford. Somebody can afford it. Figure out how to afford it. That's all. Can you believe people are financing exotic cars? They're financing them. Slaves are born every day, created by their parents. It's sad to see. See how an item can go to no value to most. Right. Right. See how an item can go to no value to most value without even changing. Only thing that changes is the feelings about the tissue. No tissue itself. Not tissue itself. Scam alert. Hey, Hyphy, how you feel about it is irrelevant. Okay? How I feel about it is irrelevant. Did it do its purpose? It did. It's making money. Now people believe that it's scarce. Shout out to Quentin. Thank you for the donation, sir. Shout out to you, sir. Much appreciated. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Much appreciated. Reply to you. That's crazy. Hyphy, I gotta admit, man, when I love when you hear me say something and you worded a better way, man, I'd be thanking you for that, man. You did that on the Discord server too, man. I appreciate that. I was like, yeah, that's a better way. When we talked about the Dave Ramsey and Denzel and religion and stuff like that, I like the way you put that, by the way. Dave says people will try to guilt trip you into going into debt. Yeah. Guilt trip you into going into debt. That doesn't even make any, not you, Dave, but it just doesn't make any sense when you have people that do that. It's like, what? You think you're going to try to make me feel bad about not signing a contract? That doesn't even make any sense. Uber guy says, I'm not sweating the corona. I'm glad I get to work at home for a while. Yeah, I don't even think about that coronavirus thing. My girlfriend damn near shoves it down my throat. That's the only way I hear it. Because when I come across my timeline, I don't read it. I remove it. I say, stop sending me stuff like that from that person, because if they're trying to spread that coronavirus stuff, I just stop following them. That's it. Uber guy says it's teaching me what to do as soon as I'm out of debt with some money to invest. Yeah, it's so Uber guy, it's going to be so easy for you, because you're not anybody that you're going to invest your money with. It's either going to be a prestigious company, or if you decide to go with a person, you're going to be like, hey man, let me see a personal credit report. They're going to think it's a weird question. Doesn't matter how they feel about it. I don't care if you think it's weird. I want to see your personal credit report. I'll show you mine if you show me yours. They're going to be like, why you want to see my whole personal credit report? Because I want to see if you got 25-year-old student loans. I'm not taking advice from a person with 25-year-old student loans. I'm not. That wouldn't make any sense. CENTS. Dave says, in corporate America, job title equals success. You're right, Dave. I see it every day. This is one reason why people immediately ask what you do. God, you're right, Dave. You're right. You know what I posted when they meet you before they know your name? And you know what's so crazy, Dave? I posted today. This is a post I made today. I said, in quotations, Linnell, what do you do? I said, and outside I said, me. I do me. So when anybody asks me, Linnell, what do you do? I say, me. I do me. Period. But you're right. You're exactly right, Dave. What do you do? What does she do? It's like, damn. When you point it out like that, it's like, oh my God, I couldn't hear that when I was in the debt matrix. All right, Nicer, have a good one. Anyway, that's what I wanted to come on. I wanted to show you guys how slaves are born. And I want you guys to see it happening. See this economy coming. I want you to watch your Instagram and your Facebook. I want you to see all the people still buying new cars, buying houses. The people talking about how what a great rate they refinance their house at. How people talk about refinancing cars. I want you to hear all the slaves. Listen to them all. They don't know that they're digging themselves in such a deep hole in this recession. They're never going to make it out. I mean, don't get me wrong. The economy is going to turn around. It has to turn around. It just has to, right? But those people are going to be so deep in debt. And the majority of them are going to stay deep in debt because they don't want to ruin their credit. So they're going to check it out. The majority of the slaves, this is what they're going to do. They're going to refinance their house. And guess what? They're going to be paying their bills with the money they got from the refinance. Borrowed money. They're going to be using borrowed money to pay off old borrowed money. AKA slave for life. Dave says, I get asked what you do probably 3 times a day, even more if I go out. Ain't that crazy? It's just a natural process. I remember being in the debt matrix. I remember getting that question all the time. What do you do? And I was like, yeah, I'm a computer engineer. Yeah. Oh my God. Woo. If I hear it now, that means wherever I was, there was maybe 1 or 2 people that knew the same thing I did when I was saying that. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed to even think about that right now. Dave says, I never answered. I'm not trying to qualify for anyone. I just say, hey, Dave, just say, I do me. Hey, what do you do? Me. What do you mean me? I do me. You said, what do I do? Yeah, I said, I do me. Oh, okay. That's it. NC Big says, LJ, will you watch me be born? But LJ, you will watch me be born, but on the debt free level. Yes, I sure will. You're gonna be born too, NC Biggs. You're coming down the canal right now, NC Biggs. You're coming down the canal. I see you. I see the top of your head, man. I see the top of your head. You gotta keep pushing. Keep pushing. I see the top. I see the top of your head, man. Just come on, man. Don't give up. Hyphy says, what do you specialize in? Living? What do you do? Me? What's your major? What's your major? Life? I like that. Answer all those questions right away. What do you specialize in? Living? What do you do? Me? What's your major? Life? I like that, Ivy. You be coming up with some good ones, man. You be coming up with some good ones. Allegedly. See, I don't know. Hyphy he could have his computer open and he might be typing in, hey, great debt-free slogans or something. Who knows? So he's allegedly saying this, okay? Cosmic Wisdom says, I don't care about what you do. What are your beliefs? What are your beliefs and kind of mindset do you have? Those are more important. Sure is. But hey, Cosmic Wisdom, they'll tell you all that without knowing that they're telling you. They'll tell you everything you ask for right now. What are your beliefs? What kind of mindset do you have? They will tell you that without even knowing that they're telling you. That's what I love about being debt free. People in debt don't know they do that. All right, you guys, we're going to wrap this up. This is a good one. I'm not coming no more in tonight. This is 2 a days. I will probably see you tomorrow morning, maybe. But for sure on Q&A Sundays. Okay, that's a for sure. But tomorrow I'm debating if I'm going to come on tomorrow, okay? You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Friday. I appreciate you all. Thank you, everyone. And until next time, talk to you later.